video, I'm going to break down my $2,500 Platinum program. I mentioned it in the last video and I got a comment asking me to break it down further because I told the full story of how I sold my first one when I was in college. And I'll break that down here in a second. So let's get into it. All right, so originally I had this program. I sold it when I first started my company called my Platinum program. And it's basically a bundle program where I bundled in a few different detailing services for the full year, marked it up a little bit, and then sold it as a Platinum program. So the services, it's basically a ceramic coating, full detail, and then a maintenance program on the back end of that for the full year. So it's an annual program, right? And it's $2,500. I got the idea from another detailer in Alabama. He does it, and he does a lot of RV detailing, but he said he mainly focuses on the Platinum program when he does like normal cars. So I started trying it and I sold one. So originally the story of when I first sold one, it was about 8 a.m. on a Saturday morning after a party on Friday night. Again, I was in college and I got a phone call and I almost didn't answer it because it's early and I was like, I just want to sleep. But I got up, I answered it. It was a lady here in Birmingham. She said she had a Tesla and she wants to protect it. And I was like, well, this is a prime candidate for this program. So I went into my whole spiel, which I'll go through my whole sales process. I have the script for it. I'll put it in the description. But went through my whole spiel, and at the very end, no objections at all. Just, okay, do I pay you with a card now or what? I was like, yeah, we can take a card now. Got her card number right there. Made $2,500 in about 10, 15 minutes at like 20 years old. And I'll never forget that moment. It was awesome. So originally that was the story I told in the last video. Somebody was like, break that down. Like I want to learn how to sell that. So I'm going to break it down in this video. So the Platinum program, basically, you can do it a few different ways and you can tweak whichever parts you want. What I did was I did a 3-year ceramic coating, and basically the first trip out there to the car is going to be the longest. You're there for, a ceramic coating amount of time, 6-7 hours, depending on paint correction and stuff like that. It was a Tesla, the first one I did. Went out there, detailed it, coated it, and then we sold them on I used to do monthly maintenance, and then I changed it, I tweaked it, and then everyone I sold after that I did quarterly, just because it made more money, made more profit if you went out there less times. And honestly, like the cars aren't getting that dirty, even if you see them every 3 months rather than every 1 month. So we just moved it to every 3 months. So basically it's a ceramic coating and then a detail every 3 months. So 3 maintenance details and a ceramic coating and the normal detail on the first trip. And you package all that up and it's $2,500 for the full year, right? So you pay one time. You can break it down and out for payment plans as well. I had a couple people who were on payment plans, but most people just bought it straight up. So it's a certain clientele you're looking for. Not everybody is going to be a customer for this specific program, but you only need a few of them to really, change your revenue for the year. And I'm going to go into how I get leads. So originally I would just pitch this to almost anybody. Like every phone call I get, if they didn't, disqualify themselves by something they said, like I just want interior, or I just have a stain on my seat, or, if they disqualify themselves, then I wouldn't pitch it to them. But if they're like, yeah, I have a brand new, Mustang, I'm trying to, keep it in good shape, like I would just go into the spiel. And I'll bring up my script here. So everybody who I would get on the phone, I would basically go through this script. So if they didn't disqualify themselves, like I said, so it's basically, do you have any idea what you're looking to have done to it? Find out what their pain points are. Like they don't want to spend the time taking it to wash it, or they don't want to wash it themselves, or they're old school and they do everything themselves, but they're running out of time, that kind of thing. If they have a monetary, pain point, this is probably not going to be the one they want. You can still pitch it and see, but it's not a cheap program, right? So it's not for everybody. So you're going to, you might just end up downselling them to a normal detail. But again, after you pitch a $2,500 program, a $300 detail sounds like a deal. So it's going to be easier to sell that as well. But after that, you tell them like, okay, they're like, yeah, I have a Tesla. Okay, we've done tons of Teslas. What I'm going to suggest for you is, then you just go through. So, what I would suggest for you, if you're, spending a lot of time detailing your own car and you really want to make it as easy as possible, to save that time, save your vehicle's value. It's what we call the Platinum program, which is essentially a program we run to maintain the vehicle for you throughout the entire year. And then the more you do this, the more you can make it sound conversational. So this first part is really just to talk yourself up, right? And there's a lot of words here. You can tone it down depending on the customer. If they interrupt you, like, okay, maybe I should back off a little bit. But if they let you talk, just give them the spiel. It makes you sound like an expert in what you're doing, right? Because you're using a lot of words they might not be familiar with. Even ceramic coating, some people don't know what it is. So I have a little explanation about ceramic coating here. And then the next thing is trial close. So, sound like what you're looking for. Like, that makes sense. Get them to say like, yep, makes sense. These are some objections that they're going to have. People go like, yeah, I really don't know about the ceramic coating. I just want to wash and wax. So I have an objection for that answer. People, they give waxes a little bit more credit than they should. Waxes really are not going to, protect your car for very long. It's not very high quality protection. They don't trust you. This is an offer I used to do. I didn't ever have anybody take me up on it, but look, if we do the job for you and you don't like it, I'll pay for another detailer to redo our work. That takes all the risk out of it for them. Then they have no reason not to trust you, because you're basically putting your work on the line, and you'll pay for everybody else or somebody else to redo it if you mess anything up, which you won't. And then they go, okay, so what's it cost? At this point, I haven't even mentioned the price, right? And since okay, for the year it's $2,500, and this says 5-year ceramic coating. You can do a 1-year ceramic coating if you want, and just recoat it every year, and then make it $2,500 for every year. Or it'd make more sense to like a 3-year coating, and then just get them on after they pay for the $2,500 for that year, just put them on a maintenance plan, like quarterly maintenance plan, monthly maintenance plan, and you'll make more money that way. And most people don't want to pay $2,500 for the full year. If they just got it coated, they're like, why don't you just put a 3 or 5-year coating on it and call it safe for those years rather than recoating it every year? But you can do whatever you want, right? They're going to re-mention all those pain points from earlier, saving their time, keeping their vehicle looking new, and keeping the value of their vehicle high. And then, repitch it. Oh, and you can also, so this is a yearly program where basically you just take care of their vehicle, right? So at the end, I would always be like, and again, like if anything comes up in between those maintenance details, we'll just come out and fix it. Just give us a call. We'll run out. We'll, shampoo that seat that had spill on it. We'll, wipe off the bugs, whatever you want us to do. Like, we'll come out and fix it. We're going to be the managers of your vehicle, basically. So this is basically the full pitch I would give them. And again, I'm going to put this in the link in the description so you can have it as well. Get leads for this program. The main thing I would do is just whoever calls you, I would pitch it to almost everybody, right? Just have the spiel. The more you do it, the more you'll have it memorized, and you'll know after, the first paragraph or two, if they're interested, if they're, a platinum program customer or not. But I would pitch it to everybody who calls, unless they disqualify themselves by saying, they're looking for a cheap detail. They're just looking for interior, a stain on their seat, whatever. But I would pitch it to most people that call you. The other option is you can run a Facebook ad campaign for basically ceramic coating customers. And I'll show you ours right now. If you're looking for specifically to get leads for this program, I was just selling it to people who called us, and people were just buying it, right? I never really put a focus on getting leads for it, which made it even more profitable because we didn't spend any extra money getting leads for it. But I'll show you our ceramic coating ad campaign now, and you can just copy it and use this on the back end of it to sell people on the platinum program. All right, so this is our Facebook campaign for ceramic coating leads. It is a leads campaign, is the campaign objective. For the ad set, we go to instant forms is what we're going to use to get the leads. I'm going to scroll through this kind of fast, but you can just copy everything. Maximize number of leads, daily budget, set whatever, at least $10 is a minimum. You can't really, you're not going to see any traction for less than $10. I always keep it going, so I don't really set an end date. And if you're going to set it, I would start it at midnight the next morning. So like today's July 8th, I would set it July 9th, midnight, and have it start tomorrow morning, just because ads typically do better if you start them on a fresh day. And then I would just pause this and copy all these interests here. So we do 35 miles within our city, 20 to 65. 20 is probably too low. You could bump this up to like 25. No one that's 20 is going to buy, a ceramic coating package for their car, but 20 is fine. And then here, I would just pause the video, copy all these, and just paste them in here. This is just the targeting we use for ceramic coating customers. And then for the ad, you can use a picture if you want. We use a video, and it basically just looks like this on the right, where it's a water beating off of a ceramic coated car, a little before and after. Just catches people's interest when they're scrolling through Facebook or Instagram. For our ad copy, again, you can pause and copy this. Again, you're gonna have to change like the city name, company name throughout. But for the most part, this is, you can use something very similar to this. And to add these emojis in here, you're just gonna have to copy it, like put it in your notes app and then copy and paste it in here. Make it easier. Headline, I just do $4.99 ceramic coating, even though, we don't ever sell a $500 coating. But, it piques more people's interest. For the template looks like this. If you scroll down, the only information I'm getting is full name, phone number, and email, and that's it. So they can click continue, and that ends up going into our CRM software, where I get notified that they filled it out, and then I can call them immediately and go through that sales script I just did with y'all. Just put y'all through. But yep, go down to I would pause the video throughout this, make a campaign exactly like this. And then you can launch it. Again, if you don't want to spend money on this, I would just start by pitching it to everybody who calls. That's a cheap way to do it. And you won't have to spend any money. Exactly. I mean, that's pretty much the whole Platinum program, what it is, how to get leads for it, how to sell it. I sold a few dozen of these when I was in college, and it was just the best money I'd ever made up to that point. But it's a great thing to do to make it a little bit more expensive, right? Because it's hard to sell people on a ceramic coating. They don't know what it is. Even if they do, they don't want to spend a lot of money on it. Throw in a couple maintenance details, makes it sound better. And you become the manager of their vehicle. So, if anything happens throughout the year, they go on vacation and it's like in between the months for the maintenance, you go out and do a quick detail real quick for them. They really appreciate that. They have somebody to call when something goes wrong on their vehicle. And yeah, it's just overall, the program makes it, the perceived value is a lot higher than if you just did a ceramic coating and you're done in a day. And, the customer's like, dang, I just paid $2,000 for that. And, it's dirty now and I have to hand wash it, but it's better. It's a better offer, really. So let me know what you think. Try and sell it. Let me know if you sell any. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I also have a free group with, I think we're at over 100 detailers now. You can find that in the description as well. And I have a paid group that's growing pretty fast. That's also in the description as well, where I show you how to market, set up all of the back-end automations, softwares, really anything, how to sell ceramic coatings, everything, really. Everything I do in my business is in there, and I just show people how to do it every day. And that's pretty much what my main focus is on now, is in that paid group. So go check it out if you're interested. But yeah, I'll see you on the next video.